We're pumped this week to be supported by the first big road race of the year, the Think Big Run the Bridge in Hobart. It includes Australia's richest 10-kilometre road race, and for the past 2 years has been the fastest 10k road race in Australia. It's coming up on Feb 27th, and it includes a 10k, a 5k and a 1k event. Head to hobartrunthebridge.com.au for more information.
Your skin can bring you so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways. Won't you come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place? Undercover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking.
Welcome to episode number 222 of the Inside Running Podcast. Thank you for joining us for another week. Big show coming at you. Got Australian records to talk about, Zatopek results to talk about, that Australian Championship that was last week. A few listener questions. Well, thanks Patreon supporters. Moose on the loose. I'm kind of laughing as I say that, Moose, because I'm not sure where you're going tonight. I'm just strapping myself in for when we get to that segment. And we'll be no interview this week, but I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about as it is. Welcome to my co-host up in Canberra, Brad Croker. How you going?
Good, Brady. Back on the tools today. It was nice to get back to school, and running is a lot better today than it was this time last week. So
back
nothing
in the
to complain about.
For you. This is early. I thought you'd take a couple of weeks to pick up some emergency days.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like today, it was only year sevens really there today, sevens and years 11 and 12. So to get a call up, it was quite rare, but yeah, it was nice way to ease into the working year.
Did it knock you around a bit, working one day?
No, it was pretty good. I'm in again Wednesday and Thursday.
Did you have to do a rapid test before you went in?
No.
ACT don't have to do that?
They're going to give them out. They're optional, but I wasn't given. They've given them to permanent staff. I think they're in their pigeonhole today, but I wasn't offered one. So, but I think I'm okay for because I only had COVID 2 weeks ago. I think I'm okay for the next couple of weeks anyway.
Okay, got a bit of a window there.
Second-class citizen, the temp teacher.
Yeah.
Is that what they call you, a temp at work?
Yeah, relief teacher.
Substitute, they still say that?
Yeah, mainly relief at my school.
Yeah. Good. Julian Spence, down in Anglesea, welcome to you to this week's show.
Thank you.
How you going?
Mate, got some momentum going with my running.
Have you?
Yeah, I do. I'm feeling good again. First time I felt good and strung together first time I've had a week of that volume, feeling pretty good in I don't know how long. I think I did 140k unless my Strava was messed up, but it all went well, and even today's runs went pretty good. So that's a good sign, because anyone can punch out a decent week, but it's how you come back the next week that really matters, and then the week after that, and just stacking them up. People get obsessed with running. I've got to run 100 miles or whatever. There's no point if you can't do 10 of them in a row, or with down weeks or whatever. But there's no point doing one big week if your body can't handle coming back from it and just keeping other weeks ticking over.
Yeah, consistent skyscrapers on Strava. That's what you want. That leads to good performance.
You don't need the big Rialto Tower and then just nothing.
Yeah.
Where would that be? What's the city we got that's got no big buildings except one maybe?
Toronto.
Canberra.
Oh yeah. Canberra's got that tower. The Telstra
Tower,
the tower, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do they do?
From now on, yeah. If someone cooks himself doing one big week, getting caught up in it, we'll call them the Canberra Tower.
I love it. Hey, your Strava says 120k as well, so you put a bit of mayo on that 140, or you're just not uploading it?
Oh, I don't put up warm-ups and cool-downs. I just, because it goes to, does it really say that? Because it goes to
121.5.
Oh, you must not see. Last week I did 120. Oh, shit. Why does it say less now?
It's 109 the week before, yeah.
It's coming off it's going off different weeks. It's counting a start date as different, I reckon, because maybe I uploaded. Anyway, for me now it's got 127.5. Oh no, that's last year. Sorry,
I got 121.5. I got.
So do I, Craig.
For your last week.
I'm all over the shop here. Oh, let me click this.
This is great listening.
139.5 actually. That's the answer.
Not everything.
I mustn't have. Yeah, you want me to upload all my because that's like four 4K plus jogs. So of course,
Why do you not upload those?
Well, they upload, but I'm set to automatically go to private,
okay.
And so I actually manually have to make them viewable. So they're the ones.
Maybe you should change that setting.
It's a real highlight reel, isn't it, Croaks? Just misconceiving, for the followers out there. I only get to see the good stuff.
Man, I'm looking after you. I'm just clogging your feet up with these shitty warm-ups and cool-downs.
Stuff. You're all right on Strava. I like to see the whole picture.
It gives you more opportunity to put up fun photos and stuff, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Monday.
You want me to... Oh, I'm talking about my week.
Yeah, may as well. Been doing it for the last 4.5 minutes, so better keep going.
So it started on the 24th, I believe, and I ran 12.5k, ran with Matty Gunther, so he came down. He's just coming back, about to get on the chalk, as you nerds would say. Got a job. Guess where he got a job at?
Anglesey.
No, Geelong Grammar.
Oh.
Richest school.
Does he get paid more working there?
Yeah, said he gets paid about, like, baseline, 25 grand more, he reckons.
No. Really?
Yeah.
He'd already be on 100. He'd already be on 110 grand a year. The rich get richer.
What do you mean? No, he wouldn't, mate. He's fucking worked at North Geelong.
Yeah, but it matters on how many years you've been teaching, not what schools you worked at.
No way he's on that. If so, his coaching fees are about to go up. Anyway, Geelong Grammar got the cross country gig out there. They came last by a mile every single race last year, and he weaseled his way in to become a maths teacher.
All right.
Yeah, that got done. Then the Arvo, I just ran a double with Kieran. Like, I did a thresh test on him beforehand, and then we just cooled down together. Well, he cooled down. I jogged. 10 miler in the morning. See, this week I actually was supposed to be in Fiji. We booked a trip there with Ali, like to sort of have a relax or whatever, and they were brave enough to go, but we weren't. So I wasn't scheduled at work, so I had a bit of a training week. So I got out for 16k. We ran with Eliza, another Run Strong girl, and had a good loop around town. Then next day was a workout, so we went to Gundry's Road, which is just a really good. I'll do yourself a favour, Brady. Click on this workout, 5 by 2 minutes, 1 minute 30 second, all hard, with a minute jog between them all.
Yep, clicked on it.
Go down and check out that elevation profile. See any flat bits?
Elevation gains 157. How do you see the profile?
Oh, you go to the bottom.
Did you go out and back?
Yeah, out and back.
Yeah, because that mirrored. Yeah.
There is
the biggest hills. The biggest hills at the turn.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's like a gradual climb out there. So it was good to run with Matt, because he's coming back not real fit, and I'm also coming back not real fit. But we had a good workout together. We stayed together the whole way, which was good. Pretty rare actually that we ever do that. Especially like 30-minute plus session. Normally someone feels good, buries the other person, but I think maybe we're getting more mature in our thinking. Don't need to bury people. Then next day, that night, jogged around, bloody busy, because it was Australia Day. Like, people in town just carnage. Not very friendly people either. No one saying hello. People crowding the path. Just not. I'm glad January's over. Put it that way. Back on the good loop the next day. So an hour. Last night was the night after Zatopek, so we should call it Zatopek Day from now on instead of Australia Day. What do you reckon? If they're going to do this from now on,
do you think
Zatopek
they'll
Day.
Keep it on Australia Day? Because there's a lot of events like distancing themselves from Australia Day, and like this has obviously been because of the last 2 years with COVID restrictions in December. Do you think it will go back to December?
Yeah.
I think conditions are better in December. Like I think you're just going to get too many hot days late January in Melbourne, whereas you don't get quite as many in December.
Yeah, I think they'll go back to.
Yeah, so
COVID related.
Yeah.
So you got an hour. Gee, it's been humid down here. I don't know about you boys, but
oh yeah,
some water in the air
everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I finished my run this afternoon and was just dripping. I felt like I was in Queensland. Like that's how they would experience like just about every run, I'd imagine.
Yeah, this was 100% humidity. It says on your Strava boost for this run.
Was it really? Yeah,
it's 100%. Yeah.
You get home and you come inside, and because there's no air moving, you just literally start pouring sweat, and it takes me probably 20 minutes to stop sweating. And if I go in the shower, so after this run, I had a cold shower, and I thought, oh, this will cool me down. I'll be right. I got out of the shower 5 minutes later, put my clothes on, pouring with sweat still still trying to cool down. It nasty.
Have you guys got evaporative air conditioning as well? It just does nothing in the humidity?
Is that... Oh, well, we have like a reverse cycle. Is that what that is?
Nah, they're good.
Nah. Yeah.
Nah.
We have evaporative.
Yeah. Split systems is what you want in the humidity.
What's the difference?
Evaporative's like when it's got that big unit on your roof and then it goes into every room like individually, comes out of the roof, and they just don't work much in the humidity.
And it basically pumps like the way it cools is it runs hot air from outside through like water. And the problem is like when you have, well, from what I understand is when you have high humidity, like there's already a lot of water in the air, and you just pump more water in there. So like when we have it on here in Canberra, like so it's really good for dry places where there's low humidity. In Canberra, if it's humid and we put that thing on, our tiles are just covered in water because it's just too saturated. Like,
but does it cool it down?
Not as well. No, it just makes it really hard to breathe because like there's just so much water in the air.
Yeah, we can't get our house like cooler than 25. Like we can have it on flat out the whole day and it doesn't go lower than 25 degrees.
Yeah.
No good at all, especially with kids.
The upside to all this though is you get the heat gains, and after a couple of weeks, I reckon we've all had it. It's like all been sort of mentioning how hot it is for a few weeks now, like starting to feel a bit fitter, conditioned to the heat too. Like if you go out and it's warm, you just feel a little bit better, and that's probably what's contributing to that high sweat rate too.
I reckon what you're doing as well, if your heart rate data is accurate, is you're running a lot at heart rate. Like a lot of your jogs, similar to mine, are like 15, 20 seconds a case slower than what they would be in winter. You just got to, because it just drains you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's all heart rate.
Yeah.
And that is the key for these conditions. Like, yeah, if you tried to push through this, you would just be, your heart rate would be like, well, for me, if I was pushing at 420s in this, my heart rate would be like 155, and that's like middle of the grey zone territory. Yeah, not recovering, but not getting fitter, really.
Slower is better, yeah. A lot of listeners out there would love to hear that, I reckon. Just slow them down in those
it takes
conditions.
the pressure off.
Oh,
yeah,
so
I mean,
especially when you don't have any other data coming at you, just heart rate on your screen and time, like overall time of the run.
It's exactly what mine is.
Yep.
And turn your auto splits off.
Yep.
You don't need to see a 1K split on a jog at all. Makes no difference whatsoever. So turn it off and just relax. And coming back from, like, people should probably be investing in those heart rate monitors, I reckon, just to make sure that once they do come back from COVID, like most people are going to get it eventually, if not, or have already had it, just to make sure they're not pushing through like when they're not quite recovered yet.
Yeah, I'm wearing mine every day at the moment and just waiting for the day that my heart rate's through the roof. Before I do a rapid, to be like, okay, I've got it. Finally got it. My heart rate monitor's onto it.
Hey, Watto. So I actually just want to read out like this. I want to read out Watto's an exchange with Watto. He said his wife and kids got COVID, and he was in the car. He said, and he was in the house with them the whole time. Said, still haven't caught the COVID, but I'm a bit tired today. Crack on with the long run, or maybe halve it. I said, do you think you've got it? He said, I've done 3 rats and a PCR all negative. My resting heart rate is up pretty high today, so that's the only thing that's off. I could be training too. And I said, yeah, don't push it. Then he said, I've done 1 more PCR today, and that'll come back tomorrow. If that's negative, I actually must be immune. He said, in the end, I didn't go running. Something was telling me it wasn't a good idea. Even my heart rate now is 70, which is super high. I said, I reckon you've got it. He said, positive. That's his next message from the next day.
Yeah, imagine if the Australian government just gave everyone heart rate monitors instead of rat tests. Just go for a little jog or walk every day. When you start seeing it higher than usual, isolate for 7 days.
Pretty smart. Anyway, that was, that afternoon I ran and I saw one of the ghost deer around town, but it was one of the ones with just massive antlers. And you see these things like fully white albino deer with huge antlers on them, like almost twice as high as the actual deer is standing. Just so impressive of a sight when you're just in the Australian bush to see that. I know they're feral creatures and they like destroy the environment down here. People want to kill them, but still an impressive sight when you see one. Because they're never like in your face. You've got to spot them through the bush to see it. And it's always a fun time. Next day I ran a threshold 3 by 10 minutes down at Mary's Inlet. So I met up with Jordan, footy player, and I went to like half out, half back. It was uphill on the way out. The weather was actually a little better this time. Like it wasn't quite as warm. Humidity was 94%, but it was only 18 degrees. So yeah, it was a nicer morning. If I just click my laps. So first one I went out 3:21s with a decent heart rate, then 3:28s, which was a hilly section, 170, and then 3:23s, 172 for the last 10 minutes. So again, only thing showing was heart rate and lap time. So I don't actually care what the pace was, but it's nice to see it get quicker towards the end, even though it was downhill. Just shows you didn't blow up during the workout. Then doubled in the Arvo. Sunday the next day, we went down to Aireys Inlet again, parked at Currawong Falls, and ran halfway along Currawong Falls on the single track, so uphill. When we got to the top, we branched off onto a dirt road called Bamber Road, and that's a climb up to the very top of the hill, one of the highest points getting around, and then we're a big, long downhill on the way home. So it was a good long run. We had a good group there, a lot of people, and good banter. So I feel like the groups are coming back now. There's a bit of normality after COVID and then school holidays and everything. This is actually also the location, this spot, of the Run Strong camp that's coming up. So the Surf Coast training camp, we're calling it, because it's based right opposite Currawong Falls down here. It's like a school camp type thing where groups can rent it out or whatever, and fully catered, accommodation included. We're going to have people arrive on a Friday night, go for a jog. Saturday morning we're going to do a workout down the road here. This is the spot where Ali does a lot of her training because it's near her house. So if you heard about like Road to Nowhere, you want to come and have a look at the training location, this is it. Then we're going to do a couple of presentations. We've got well, we're just confirming the dietitian, but high-profile AA dietitian going to come and give a presentation. I'm going to have a chat about training. We're going to do a Q&A with Ali. And then Saturday Arvo, we might do a strength and conditioning session. Sunday morning, we're going to go for a long run. So there'll be different paces. We're going to have, like, obviously a faster group. We've got some good runners coming, 221 guy coming down on the camp. So there will be a chance to get faster if you're a bit quicker, but there's also going to be multiple pace groups. So if you're not quite up at that pace, then there'll be no pressure to go at that. We're going to have a back group, so pretty real cruisy. Different loops available, so if you're not up to running long at this point, then all good. And yeah, that's the camp. What do you boys think? You reckon you come down?
What was the date? Sorry, did you say that?
Oh,
probably
it's
important you plug that date in.
It's like April. It's April. So April 8, 9, 10. April 8, 9, 10. Come down on the 8th.
You coming, folks?
Hang on, I'm just emailing. I'm just emailing this invoice to Surf Coast Track Club for.
Hey, this isn't
advertising.
The Surf Coast Track Club will support the event, but they're not benefiting from this in any way.
That's Canberra Marathon weekend, so I will not be there.
It is,
right,
yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's Easter after that or before?
It's Easter's before that, I think. Run for the Kids is the weekend before that. So I reckon that's like a more followed event in Victoria. Run for the Kids.
Easter's the weekend after.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
sounds good.
I reckon you could, Brady, come down with your crew.
It's a long way for us to travel, Moose. When you say crew,
Brady's
like
coming up to defend his half marathon title.
Try go back to back, Canberra.
Actually, good comment on this from one of the boys on the long run about you complaining about your racing this week and being sat on.
I wasn't complaining about my racing. I was complaining about other people's race tactics.
No. But you're complaining about someone sitting on you.
Yeah.
And the guy on the long run mentioned, well, glad he sat on me for 15K at Canberra Marathon. Yeah. And I thought that's a very good point.
I've got no issues with sitting on people who are similar quality. But if you're a 3:46 guy and you're sitting on a guy who ran a marathon 6 weeks ago and hasn't run a 1500 for like 8 years and like had run the 5K the night before, like just get the best out of yourself.
What's he supposed to do?
I disagree.
Interview before the start?
Isn't he meant to just win it?
I'll talk about this in my week, fellas. But yeah, Toby's...
So if I'm a 346 guy running against a 4-minute guy, then I'm just going to go and sit on him because I know I'll be able to kick him at the end. That's great racing.
Just do some work.
Cool tactics.
No, but it wasn't just him. There was about 5 guys quicker than me in the field that all sat on me as well. And I ended up beating every other one of them bar him. Anyway, I'll get to Sam Williams in a second when it's my weekly recap.
Is that the guy who won?
Yep.
Sam Williams, King of Ballarat.
Is that his name? He runs for Geelong,
Brady. Tell us about your week.
Yeah.
Okay. I had 2 races.
Just cut straight to the 1500 though, actually.
No, well, we've got some celebrations to do before then, boys. 60 minutes Monday, 4:48 pace, nice and slow, heart rate on. Tuesday, did a workout with Glenn. We did 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute times 3 with a minute jog in between. Kind of like 3:20 pace for the 3s, 3:10 for the 2s, 3 minutes for the 1s. And then I just got in the spikes, did 3 200s in 30, 30, 29, and then a 62-second 400. Off 200 metres jog, so that was good on the grass. So I apply the 2-second rule for the 200, for the 400, the 1-second rule for the 200. So a bit of speed in the legs there, which I was happy with, like before the race. And then on Wednesday, Tuesday, I got a jog done, just half an hour at 4:47s. On Wednesday, I got out that was Australia Day, wasn't it? Yeah, 60 minutes at 4:43s. Thursday, the day before my 5K, did an easy jog and strides, just 50 minutes and a few strides in there. And then Vic Country 5K Championships on the Friday. So I got out for 30 minutes in the morning, just at 4:46s, just to tick the legs over, because that was our first day back at work. And then after work, picked up Hudson from daycare, and we drove down to Bendigo. Drove into a massive storm. I think they got something like 46 mils of rain in like an hour and a half there. Track like fully flooded. I wasn't sure, what was going to happen with my race, but they ended up putting everything back about 90 minutes. So our race didn't start till about 9:15. Super humid, 99% humidity it said on our Strava for this one. And one of those ones where you can just see it just sitting under the lights, because it was dark by the time we raced, obviously. Really kind of like eerie kind of, feeling. Like kind of just, felt like it was the middle of the night and all this like fog was just in the air. Anyway, so this was the Victorian 5K Championships.
Country Championships.
Did I not say, sorry, done this country there. This was the, Country Championships of Victoria. Couple of Ballarat.
What does that mean for like listeners?
Overseas listeners, that means anywhere that's not like Melbourne. So like you'll be familiar with terms that obviously Echuca, where I'm from. I'm actually from Miami. I'm in a different state, but I'm registered in Victoria, so I can do these championships, I suppose. Where Moose is from, down near like the Surf Coast and Geelong region, which is what's Geelong, Moose? About 120,000 population. More than that.
It's like it'd be closer to 250 now.
250. Okay, yeah. So that'd be the second biggest city outside of Melbourne. Then you got Bendigo, where we talk about Bendigo bats all the time. Shepparton's another big town in Victoria, but they don't have much of a running culture. And then you got like Gippsland and stuff down the other side of Melbourne. So yeah, it covers a lot of territory. And then like Albury, Wodonga as well. Those guys up there. And this meet moves around to a different Victorian country town each year. And Bendigo, it doesn't go around to many of them. It's kind of like Bendigo, Ballarat, Geelong, maybe sometimes down in Gippsland. But it's very, it's pretty poorly attended, probably. You might get one or two decent people in most of the races, but the fields aren't really deep. So when you see people banging on, like I'm about winning Vic Country Championship medals, there's a bit of mayonnaise usually on that. But it was a good race. I was just excited to be in it, and taking the opportunities to race kind of post Olivia's birth and not being in that good of a shape at the moment. I thought it'd be a good way to kind of try and race myself fit and get involved in a local competition that's obviously pretty close to home. And my parents are there as well, so I kind of let them see Hudson. They can look after him while I have a bit of a race. Two Ballarat boys went straight to the front, Moose. Ben and... what was the other guy's name? He pretty much led flat out. Will Ford. So they Will pretty much went to the front and just started dropping 73s, pretty much consistent as. Set up a bit of a train with I was sitting in third and Ned Buckle was sitting in fourth. And then I think the third K just turned it up a bit, a few like 71, 72s in there. And there was a little gap that just formed in between me and Ben. And then Ned, who was sitting in fourth, kind of came around me to kind of cover that move. And I just went through a couple of rough laps in there. And it just felt like sweat going everywhere, just a bit draining, like 9:15 at night. I'm usually in bed at that time. I wasn't really motivated and just, went through a bit of a rough patch, but hung in there. And then I really didn't want to get into I had this problem where I wanted to save as much energy for the 1500 the next day. So I kind of wanted the 5K to be slower. But at the same time, I didn't want to be in a sprint finish with these boys because they're way younger than me. And I probably didn't back my kick enough. So I went to the front with 2 laps to go and ran a 66 and got rid of everyone other than Ned Buckle, who's a Bendigo bat guy with a mullet. You've seen him getting around? Buckle twins, there's 2 of them. This is Ned.
Seen the name around, actually.
Yeah, really good runner. He ran 3:58 the other day at Vic Milers Club. He's been up at Falls Creek with Andy for 2.5 weeks. So I thought he was a bit of a threat. And then, dropped a 66 the second last lap and got rid of everyone bar him. And then just kept trying to turn the pace up every 100 metres in that last lap. Got about 250 metres to go and we're about to lap somebody. And I moved out into lane 2 to kind of get ready to go around him. And little Ned snuck up the inside of me, straight up the inside. Got in front of me because then he had to go wide as well. And then I thought got to get on him here. There's probably like 200 metres to go. Got on him around the bend, held on, and then kicked away in the home straight to take the win in 15:01 off a 2:44 last K. But most of that good stuff was in the last 800. I think we were like 2:7, 2:8 for the last 800. So it was a cool race. It was good to see. And the other 2 boys came in like 15:10 and 15:20ish. So considering the conditions and stuff, I'll take that, given where I'm at fitness-wise. So then, I'll collect my gold medal, Croaks. So I got up on the podium there, got the gold medal presented to me. and then cooled down, and then a bit of a shake on Saturday morning. And you wouldn't guess who I bumped into, fellas. Just went for a little run just near my parents' house. Run past Roman Nafe from the live stream. He was down there. Couldn't believe it. So, did a bit of running with Nath. He was warming up for his steeplechase for my shakeout. And then in the afternoon, did the 1,500 metres. And this one, I was probably the fifth fastest guy in the field. And you raced against guys who haven't obviously done the 5K the night before. So I was just thinking, if I can snag a medal here, then I'm probably going all right. If I can maybe break 4 minutes, that would be a good result, a good weekend. And then we went out pretty hard. First, 150, 200 was pretty hot. And then we got into the home straight of the first kind of 300 there. And just everyone just threw the brakes on and nearly running up the backs of each other. And it was like a 20k headwind coming down the straight. So I just decided to go to the front, and I thought I'll just keep this honest at least. Still gives us a chance to run a pretty quick time. Hopefully, 3:58, 3:59.
Noble of you.
Took one for the team, went straight at the front, and then I had a mate yelling out splits at 400, and he yelled out 64, and I thought, okay, this is good. And then I thought I'll do another one, and then I did I think he said 65 for the second one. And then I'm just everyone's just piled up on my shoulder. So this is with 700 metres to go. And I'm just looking around come on, someone's got to help out the old fella here. Do some work, guys. We're not running the Olympic 1,500 metre final. Do some work. Get the best out of yourselves.
Sounds like they're waiting for the pacemaker to step off.
Exactly.
You're holding them up.
That's what it was like. I'm you're sitting on the wrong guy. I'm the fifth fastest guy in here. I'm not sure why you're trying to outkick me. But anyway.
Brady, there was only one bloke sitting on you. Everyone else was sitting on the person in front of them.
Oh, but they were nearly three wide at one stage. Anyway, so I thought, I was a bit annoyed at this stage, so I'm I'm just going to make this a bit of a fartlek. So if you click on my Strava and look at the cadence, you'll just see it just goes up and down. So I just started surging 100, floating when we had a bit of a headwind, surging again. And then we got to 400 to go, and no shit, we're three people across the track, and no one was willing to take over the lead. And I'm we've got 400 metres to go. Someone's got to put in a move somewhere. And no one still did, so I just went hard from the bell. I thought, stuff it, I'll try and outkick all these guys. Put the foot down at the bell, got out the back straight, and Sam Williams, he's a 346 guy, just went flashing past me on the outside, and I'm oh no, there's going to be another 3 or 4 guys going past me. And then they didn't. I kind of jumped on him as best I could. Not a very good, stay on. Probably only lasted about 20 metres, but it was probably enough to just help me detach from the other guys in the field as well, and then just pretty much ran scared the last 150 metres. Got second, got the silver medal in 4 minutes and 4 seconds, and Sam was 4 minutes and 1 second. So he put 3 seconds into me in 250 metres. He looked good, but I was just annoyed. I'm I don't know. I was fuming.
What's your PB? What's your PB?
3:53.
I reckon that would be close to the second best PB in the field.
Yeah, but. I'm not in 1,500 metre PB shape. That PB was from about 12 years ago.
That's your PB. The other people in the field don't come up and ask you, "Oh, hey mate, what's your current form like?" They might have seen, Brady's run.
No, but if you were to do a marathon in 2 months' time because you were, I don't know, you just wanted to get one on the board, people aren't treating you like a 2:14 guy.
How do they know what you've done?
I don't know.
How does the guy sitting behind you know that you did a marathon?
Don't know. Probably should have.
Don't know. Exactly.
Give him a call.
There's one thing that matters. Who crosses the line first?
Anyway, I got second, it was a decent effort. It was a good weekend getting a gold and silver. I'll take that.
Pretty good run, really.
Would have preferred to be a bit
405.
quicker. 404. No, I'm disappointed with that. The kids' race was running quicker than what Sam ran. Some kid from Ballarat. Is it Archie Caldwell or something like that? Caldo, yeah. He said to me at the start line, he goes, "You better run quicker than what I run, Brady." And I'm what'd you run? It's 4:01. I'm thinking, geez, probably just here, mate. Turns out none of us ran quicker than what he ran. Anyway.
Did he run it the same night as you did?
Yeah, he ran gun to tape 20 minutes before us. Yeah, it was
Ballarat strength.
And that's just what you want to see. Just people having a crack like that kid did. That's all you want to see.
Mate, give it a spell. It's track racing.
Anyway.
I don't see you having a crack at Centro. Were you?
I was
Centro.
I told you this. I was Centro, leading them through. Just couldn't hang on in that last lap.
No, Centro is the guy that crosses the line first and gets the gold medal, Brady.
I think I ran my last lap of the 5K quicker than I did the last lap of the 1,500 as well. I was in a world of hurt that last lap. Anyway, then on Sunday, went for a long run with most of the Bendigo Bats guys. We did about 80 minutes, and then we finished off at the track because we had a couple of Bendigo Bats guys running there. Nath Stote, who got the win in 30:31, good run for him, gun to tape by himself. And Jamie the Beast Cook got third there, so good showing for the Bats in that race. And that was my week, 117 kilometres, third week back over 115k. So starting to tickle on the right. Give me 2 or 3 weeks, and I think I'll be going fine. 5k frenzy coming up in a couple of weeks, Moose, Friday. Sending some athletes to that, because none of the Geelong guys really rocked up to this one, did they? Vic Countries.
But Stewie might come.
Stewie?
What? Yeah.
No. Any Surf Coast track guys coming?
No.
Toby?
No. Not Bendigo. Toby considered it, I think.
Yeah.
Considered it, but
paced
what day is it? Friday?
Yeah, it's paced at Friday night. Pacing at 14:25 to get the Nationals qualifier. Anyone out there? By who? I think I'll take the first 3. I think Glenn's going to take the first 1k, and then I'm going to try and get it to 3.5k.
Who wants the qualifier?
Nathan Pearce, Roman Nath.
But he set this up for.
Yeah,
Nathan Pearce is setting up races now.
He said to me on Saturday, "What's your plans for the frenzy?" And I said, I don't think I'm in shape to race like fast, so I'm more than happy to pace. And he goes, "Yeah, well, there's heaps of guys want to run under 14:25 if you can get us to 3.5k."
So there's heaps of guys now.
That's what he reckons. You know how he knows everyone in Melbourne.
Not just Nath though.
No, not just Nath. Well, Archie,
you just said you're setting it up for Nath.
Yeah, well, he's the one who came up with the idea. There'll be more than one guy there though.
Well, that'll be good then. That'll be strong.
Well, Archie and Nath Stote for starters, they'll both be around that pace, a bit quicker hopefully. I think Andy Buchanan's going to run again, try to go back to back. They're setting a new tent up, but it's going to go the whole straight this year, they reckon, 100 metres or 95 metres.
A lot of this time stuff is dependent on how the weather is. Yeah.
Bendigo is a windy track. You saw that last year.
Yeah, I remember it last year. It wasn't great, and then it will come down to racing again. They got cash on again?
I'm not 100% sure about the cash, but I think people are just looking for an opportunity to run a 5k track race because there's not many of them.
Well, they've got Box Hill Burns on March 8.
That's a 3k though.
What?
Yeah, Box Hill Burns a 3k.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Are you sure?
Yeah. Well, it was last year. I'm just assuming it has been the last couple of years.
Nah.
Yeah, it definitely
Box Hill Burns at 5k.
No, it's not. You're thinking there's ones that Collingwood one I did last year and the Richmond one and that they're like 5Ks.
You are... No.
Mate, Google it. Google it like Croaks is talking.
All right.
Do you want to put a slab of beer on it?
No, because you sound confident.
Yeah, because I know what I'm talking about. Croaks, tell us about your week.
All right, so Monday, got out in the morning, 10.5k, 4:29s. I think I mentioned last week, I was having sort of pain through like adductors, hips, that sort of thing. So similar run the next day, another 10.5k at 4:31s. And then I took a day off just because the physio said, look, don't for a while until you build the volume up, try and not run more than 2 to 3 days in a row before having a day off. Plus, just with that uncomfortable feeling I was getting through my adductors and hips, I thought, you know what, I'll just take a day off. Hopefully it'll settle. And then I got out in the afternoon on Thursday, and it was the first afternoon run I've done. Listened to the long and the short of it, episode 3, so that was quite enjoyable. And this was by far the best run since like mid-December. It was pretty warm. I tried to actually hook up. My heart rate didn't sync up with my Coros for some reason. I don't know if you guys have ever had any issues with that. Like I've experienced once or twice where you press the button to get up the satellite, and often the heart rate will then come on, and I just couldn't get it to work. So I didn't have heart rate. But
what heart rate you got? What monitor?
A Polar.
Polar what?
I don't know.
H10 or H9?
Maybe H10.
Oh, mate, I've been having the same issue. 2 brand new Polar H10s won't link up, and it's not just to my Coros. It's to my it's even to my treadmill and my cross trainer. So yeah, I've been pretty disappointed. I've had to replace the battery a couple of times. It kind of resets it and links up once, but then it forgets it. Yeah. So I've gone back to wearing my Garmin heart rate monitor Run and heart rate monitor Pro. I got a new one and no dramas whatsoever. So I've just given the Polars this week.
was sort of frustrating because I like sort of stuffed around a little bit, like, sort of reset it and just and then when I got home I sort of thought, well, maybe it's the battery. I took the battery out, but then what I did was I tried to then hook it up to my old Garmin 245 music, and it hooked up straight away. So I've basically just been using that ever since. It also stops me then from having to wear two watches because I often have the Coros and the Garmin on the other one, so I can listen to music. So, but in terms of how I felt, like 4:15s was, just awesome. I didn't have any of that adductor stuff. So it's just one of those things. If I don't run, everything through back, hips and everything just locks up, and it just takes a little while for that to sort of get back to normal, which is to be expected. If you haven't run for 5 to 6 weeks, like your body's not going to feel amazing when you come back. So that was encouraging. I then took the next day off because I wanted to just up it a little bit from sort of the 45-minute runs. So then I went out on Saturday morning, and it was feral. Like, it was 23 degrees when I ran at 9:30 with like 90% humidity. So I think the apparent temperature was like 27 degrees. So I did an hour, 4:24s. It was okay. Heart rate was like through the roof. Like, I actually at one point like didn't even believe the heart rate. Like I got into the 170s running 4:20s. So I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. Average 157. Like when I'm fit, like I rarely hit 175 in a session. So anyway, so then the next day, I decided just to run on the treadmill because I thought, well, because it was another one of those sort of stormy days. I thought, you know what, I'll control my heart rate way better if I'm just on the treadmill. So just put the Coffee Club podcast in and did 75 minutes on 12k an hour, average heart rate 143 for a week of 60k. So I was in the 30s, I think, the week before, 36, and gone to 60. Everything's feeling pretty good. Had a good run again this afternoon, so I'll run every day from now, and probably aim to hit around 90k this week, just jogging, and then next week look to start some light sessions.
Good though, on the right side of it.
Massive improvement. Yeah, like even this afternoon felt good.
Better this week than you were last week, Krogs.
Yeah,
trending upwards.
It's difficult to run for 70 minutes just with a podcast. I would have thought you need some sort of visual to look at.
On a treadmill, they're pretty good
like
on that podcast.
Like an iPad or something, just to watch a YouTube or something.
Well, at one point I was going to watch something, but I don't know. I just get into a rhythm and I'm fine. Like I really don't mind running on the treadmill at all.
Was that the episode before Millrose Games where they were previewing it?
Yeah, which was interesting because so I ran at like 9:30 in the morning, so it was about an hour after the races had been run. So it was quite cool knowing what the results were and then hearing what they were sort of thinking in the lead up.
Well, you might
how confident were they?
We'll
go to the results now. Do you want to go to them? And then we can come back
right.
and thank some Patreon supporters. So Millrose Games, you probably know more about it than me, Croaks, but one of them, if not the biggest indoor meet in the world. They were talking about that. Is it the biggest?
Yeah, like I think it's very prestigious. Like you see the trophy, and I don't know how many years have been. Do you know how many years have been going, Brady? But like there's a ton of names on it. But I think it has a lot of history back from the days of like your walkers and that sort of thing. Like the who's who of middle distance running or milers has sort of won that event.
114 this was.
Yeah,
that's massive, isn't it?
So there's a lot of history there.
Herb Elliott ever win?
I'm opening up the winning stuff now.
I guess it's a tough one for like I've never really got into it that much because I guess over here like the indoor stuff's just never really been that popular. And back when I was running 1500s, there also wasn't the social media. Like, so you would never actually be able to watch the race, and very rarely you probably wouldn't even really hear the results that much. But now it's you can pretty much watch it live. So, but yeah, would that be the first Aussie to have won it?
Yeah,
no, I think. What about
doing my best?
Did Mottram win it? I'm thinking that
it's weird for our season too, isn't it? Yeah, I've got him over.
But they used to tour over there. The oldest
first Australian ever win it, Oli Hoare this year. in 3:50.83. Didn't he just miss the record as well? Centro's ran 3:50.6.
No, Kajelcha, I think, has run way faster. He's ran like
3:48.
48, yeah.
Well, I reckon Centro had the record, and he was saying on the podcast after he left Salazar then was coaching Kajelcha and was like making a joke that he wanted him to send him out there to beat the record.
Pretty dominant run from Oli, though.
Bernard Legat won it 6 years in a row. Being on the show. He must have 8 or 9 wins as well. But yeah, no other Australians.
Centro's won it like 3 times. But yeah, so like they had a pacemaker. Once the pacemaker pulled off, Oli was then in front, and Josh Kerr, who won the bronze at the Olympics in the 1500, he went around Oli with, I don't know, like 400 to go maybe. And then they got to the Burl because it's a 200 meter track, and then down sort of the back straight, so probably 150 to go. Oli just went around him and made it look pretty easy, to be honest, and opened up a big gap in 100 metres. I think he won by nearly 2 seconds, didn't he?
It's a very impressive run, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good to see him winning. It was pretty up and about. In the women's race, we had Jessica Hull in the mile there. So he broke the Australian indoor record, didn't he? Do we say that about Oli Hoare? Yeah.
Yep.
What's the Australian outdoor record?
Charlie Hunter held it beforehand. Stewie broke it last year. Remember? 348.
Okay, yeah. Still a bit of a gap there to Stewie. But the way Oli finished, though. But he does enjoy running on the indoor track, doesn't he? Often runs the best.
And also, what I like about Oli's run is, he's improved his strength. He ran 13:09 for an indoor 5K in December. And I reckon this is coming off not a whole heap of 1,500 mile specific sessions. So, it's pretty good to be running that time this time of the year for probably the training he's been doing.
Yeah, and there was a really good Sidious Mag podcast where they got them after the race. I listened to it on my run this morning, and they were saying he'll try to do a double peak, try peak now and then peak again, which could be interesting because he'll be a threat at World Indoor Champs. He's got that penciled in that he wants to do that. We're getting a medal there from him for sure. And then Jess Hull was in the women's race. She also broke the Australian indoor mile record. She kept finishing 4th position, and she ran 4:24.06. Took down Sarah Jamison's PB. So that would have stood for a while. Australian record. It was a good 15 years.
Area record as well.
Yeah.
So Oceania record.
Who did she take, sorry?
Sarah Jamison's.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that was a good result for Jess. She broke an Australian record not so long ago, didn't she? Just can't expect it with Jess.
Well, Jess and Lyndon sort of trading him off right now. You feel like
the indoor opportunities with Lyndon over here, no indoor tracks.
Did Lyndon say when was she saying that she maybe wanted to do an indoor season, or who was? Oh, gee, I remember someone saying that. Someone significant.
Yeah, can't tell us off the top of my head, but I've definitely... They've done it in the past because there's a 3K, not a 5K, isn't there? But we can at World Indoors, which is coming up in... Where is it? Serbia.
Was it right? Krishna Stanton that got a bronze or something in that?
She did. And you only send 2 people to World Indoors as well. So but you'd definitely be having Oli on that team for sure. Did you watch the 3K there as well? That was an amazing race.
That was Beamish, the race,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was which was interesting because the mile's usually a more loaded one, but you can probably look at the results in the field of the 3K and probably say that was the main race for the night.
They were both loaded, really, weren't they? But the 3K had them all. Had the 2 US blokes that have just turned pro. Cole Hocker, 3, Connor Mance, Cole Hocker, and Cooper Teare. And then you had, Geordie, who won, he was an NCAA champion in the indoor, was it the indoor 15?
Geordie Beamish from New Zealand you're talking about?
Yeah, when he came out of school, he surprised them, NAU guy. I reckon he won it when he wasn't that fit.
Had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, and then he's come out and everyone was like, whoa, we didn't expect to see that.
There's a couple of Tin Man in there, Drew Hunter and Sam Parsons.
Yeah, but this is a different level to those guys, right?
Well,
when you're talking about
the Guatemalan who went to the Olympics and made the 5K.
Yeah.
He went to the front, did a little bit of work for a while there.
But you're looking at a guy like Geordie, who like when you watch the race, it's pretty incredible to watch. Like you mentioned, Brady, that you thought you were watching the wrong race.
I actually, So I knew the result, and then I put it on my laptop, and I'm going halfway through the race. I'm like, I've clicked the wrong year. Must have been. And then I go, hang on, none of these guys, like, those guys at the front weren't pros last year. They were still running for Oregon.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, this must be the right race. And then I could not believe he came back from there.
He just gave, like, I'm not sure exactly what point. I'm going to say, so it's a 200-metre track, so what, 15 laps?
I'm going to say 5 to go.
Yeah, probably 5 to go. All of a sudden, he just slipped back, and then someone else passed him, and he gave up the position, and then someone else went past, he gave his position up, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, you don't just give your position up in an indoor race so easily. Like, you got to fight for that spot, because on a 200-metre indoor track is a very small opportunity to pass on the straight because they're so small. So having position is crucial to winning races, and he's given it up. So he must have gone, I thought, he's cooked here. Let's talk about who's going to win. Maybe it's Cole versus Cooper, like the two mates from Oregon. And then all of a sudden, because I knew that he won, I'm watching him. I'm like, okay, he's passed a couple, but there's only like 100 metres left, and he's still a way back. And then all of a sudden pulls up. Cooper Teare just is thinking, no one's passing me. It's me and Cole. I'm going to drift out to slightly block Cole and push him a bit wider. And then you just see Geordie just slide into the hole on the inside rail. And Cooper, there's a frame where Cooper Teare looks over. He's like, where the hell did you come from? Yeah.
Because he tries to kick.
Yeah. He tries to kick again, Cooper, but there's just too much momentum that Geordie had. And his acceleration is just like so impressive.
He ran 25 seconds for the last 200. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Wasn't Luke Matthews telling us last week it's impossible to close in under 26 or something?
I think he was talking about 800-metre races.
Still, even harder over 3K.
But yeah, if you're listening to this, go and watch it. So the Millrose Games men's 3K.
We'll put it in the show notes. Just watch Beamish the whole time. Like, just watch him to what he does, how he does that race. And then he done a victory lap in 37 seconds or something. Yeah. In lane 6, he just kept running. It was amazing.
He's got the tools to win a championship, like to win a medal. He's got the tools. Like, he has the racing nous. He has the kick, and he's run 13:05. Was it?
He was behind 13:12 or something.
Yeah, well, he's run very fast over 5. He has strength as well. So he's going to be a real player when it comes to championship racing.
And he doesn't run a lot of kilometres a week either. Because he's been so injury prone.
Just wrapping in cotton wool, don't they? 2 points here. So first one, their training partner, and probably the better runner than both of them at college, Morgan McDonald. What's he sitting back thinking? Like, he's coming back from injuries, but is he thinking, once I get rolling, I can do this?
Oh, it'd be I guess it'd be bittersweet for him at the moment. Like, he'd love to be out there, but to see his squad just absolutely dominating everything they do, it must be exciting for the future. I guess he just needs to stay patient and, respect where his body's at and not push it. A question I had for you guys, because another on athlete who's coached by Dathan won the women's 3K. Is it Monsoon?
Monsoon, yeah.
Elite,
She just won the cross country, US cross country a couple of weeks ago.
And so she was wearing the new on spikes, and Sage, who's the fiance of Joe Klecker, she ran a significant PB in the mile or the 800. No, and she also and she also wore the new on spikes, and so did Geordie. Oli didn't because they didn't have his size. But, On has not been a brand that, a lot of top runners have sort of really respected. But do you think that what this team are doing with how dominant they've been, it's going to change the opinion of people, and you'll see a lot more people wearing on in the future or in the next few months?
Moose is probably best to answer that.
Well, I don't think so, because you're a track nerd watching an indoor race in New York on YouTube. No one, the general public doesn't care about that. The general public won't ever watch that, and if they do, they're not going to care about what shoes are being worn or the singlet that's being worn. So I actually don't think that it's going to change shoe sales here anyway. That spike, from the track nerd perspective, yep, there's going to be people who want that spike, no doubt about it, and we'll probably field inquiries for it. But we obviously don't. Well, we don't stock on, and getting that spike in the country, produced commercially and then into the country, and it's just the Adidas. I mean, the Asics one never made it to Oz. The Adidas one never made it to Oz. The New Balance one's not coming to Oz. So you just think, well, it's great. It's great they're winning races, and we love that they're supporting the sport. But is it going to make a difference? I just don't think so.
I think it would but I think the other side though, Moose, is all right, yes, it's just a track race, but these guys are obviously having to train a lot, and so if they all stay in one piece and aren't injured, it's all right, well, their shoes obviously their shoes play a part in keeping somebody injury free. So, but I think maybe where they've missed it here is this is a track racing team, and they haven't really branched out into the road running. Whereas if you saw a few on athletes dominating marathons, half marathons, that might get a few more of the punters on board with on.
Yeah, exactly. Road racing, big city marathons, basically anywhere where they'd be a little bit more relatable to a jogger or to a recreational runner.
You guys know they just signed Helen O'Beary. She's going to join them on Athletes Club, and she's going to go to the roads. This is an Olympic, silver medalist over the 5 or 10? She's legit. But back to the point, though, I don't think this is the first time, probably ever, that I've followed running. Do I think I am a fan of an actual group? I know these personalities the Oli Hoares and the George Beamish, and then Morgan McDonald and the content he puts out there. And I think it's a lot because they're individually putting out content or as a bit of a collective. Joe Klecker, I feel like I know the characters in that group, that when they start bringing out merch, it might be on stuff, it might not be on stuff, because I think they got their own branding and stuff with their coffee club kind of business as well. I reckon I'm going to be the first person to buy it, and they seem to race regularly, and it's I think they've got punter buy-in for sure. What these guys are doing is working. Dodds, you agree? You listen to it, don't you, Croaks?
Yeah, I listen to it. I think it's easy to say that at the moment because I feel like the stars have aligned for this group.
Whoever put that group together has got to be punch in the air.
Yeah, they're all racing well. They've got the podcast now. But you know what it's like in running. It only takes one or two of these guys to get injured and not perform for 6 months, and it'll be what's happened on, Whereas they're up and about at the moment because everything's going well. But we know that, things change in distance running.
But Dathan Ritzenheim, their coach, I think, he's got a bit to do with that culture they've created and the success they're having. He's obviously got the buy-in from the athletes. Anyway, go check out the podcast if you want to listen to that one. Let's go thank some Patreon supporters before we come back to the news. This was meant to be a quick show. We haven't even started talking about Zatopek yet.
So I got Matthew Perotta. Matthew's run 23:09 for 5K, 48:15 for 10, which he did at the Sun Run last year, which is a relatively hilly course. 2:08 for the half marathon and 4:41 for the marathon at the Sydney Running Festival in 2019. He's in the Sydney Harbour Runners Group, rides a bike a bit. Brady reckons he's got pretty good swag, and he's rolling one of those short style beards. So thanks for your support, Matthew, and good luck if you're doing the Sun Run this weekend.
Oh, is it coming up this weekend?
Yeah, it's this weekend.
Good knowledge from me.
How short is this beard, Brady?
Oh, it's big enough to be a beard, but you can tell he maintains it to keep it short. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a long beard.
What about like you?
Well, it depends on when you see me. I just kind of like shave once a month and then it just grows back over the month. Unless I get
But
it
you
rolling.
shave your whole face?
Yeah, I just get the electric shaver on it, pretty much take it all off, and then I've got it.
You are a hairy little beast.
But then I just don't shave for like 4 or 5 weeks.
That's insane.
Hey Brady, at what age did you want to become like a hipster?
Did I want to become one?
Yeah, because like you love any patron that looks half hipster, you're all about.
Yeah.
Why don't you have tattoos of like
I'm scared
of
needles,
anchors and shit all over yourself?
Yeah, anchors.
Yeah, a compass.
A compass.
Get the compass.
Compass, anchors. What are the other common ones? Skull and crossbones.
Sparrows.
Sparrows.
Yeah, you know.
Swallows,
Yeah.
aren't they? Yeah.
I don't
Nah.
know.
I don't know. I was thinking about like following your lead, Moose, and getting my uni on my leg, like La Trobe University Bendigo.
Nah, you'd be getting a bat there. You've got to get a bat.
That's what we were going to get when we won Divi 2, but the season got cancelled, so we couldn't get it.
You would not get it for Division 2.
We were going to do it as a joke, if we won it.
Please.
Anyway,
That wouldn't be funny.
we'll win
That would be
Premier
sad.
Division this year and get it, I reckon. Big battle.
No, they're not putting you up. They haven't put you up.
Oh, we can talk about that off air, because I think there's something in the works, but I don't want to say
Oh,
too
I don't
much
think
yet.
so. I don't think so.
Have you heard the same rumours I've heard? What's
I've
the
heard
talk?
you're not going up.
Have you? Oh,
Yeah.
that's not what I heard. But anyway, we'll talk about that off air. And my thing is someone? No, your thing is someone, Moose. Zoe.
Me, Zoe Toland. She is from the ADL, which is Adelaide, short for Adelaide. 38:02 at the Adelaide Marathon. Good one, Brady.
I haven't spelled Adelaide right there. I just corrected it.
Good one. That's the 10K there, obviously. 2021 5K parkrun best. Is an exercise physiologist. So she knows her science. Saw a gang of youths play a gig in 2017. Well, there you go.
I saw Gang of Youths, like the band, not actually a gang of youths.
She saw a gang of youths.
No, there's no A in there yet. Yeah, I just saw a couple of kids playing.
What's their main song? Are they famous?
Oh, yeah, they're real famous.
Doesn't Mono love them?
Mono loves Gang of Youths, yeah.
That's what's making me think they're real uncool.
That's sad that Mono knows more about Gang of Youths than you do, Moose.
Yeah,
You
does
should
Mono know about...
them. They got heaps of hits, Gang of Youths.
I don't
Magnolia,
listen
listen
to
to that song after. Oh, so much passion from there. You'd like Gang of Youths, I think. Anyway,
Magnolia. Okay, let me
Magnolia.
put it in my list.
That's a nice song to listen to. Just look at their popular ones on Spotify and you'd go, all right. Tim Leach, I'm thanking you, from Brisbane, Queensland. 17:59 for 5K, 38:39 for 10K, 1:29 for the half marathon at the Sunshine Coast Half Marathon. Part of the in-training running group up there. You know, the red and white singlets fellas? See all those? They pretty much dominate
see
the
them
state
everywhere.
of Queensland, don't they? And he came 82nd at the Two Bays trail race a couple of weeks ago. So he must have been down here in Victoria for that one, obviously. Owns a pair of the white-pink Next Percent Moose. Was that the Tokyo colour?
Oh, yeah, we like them.
That was Tokyo,
You know,
wasn't it?
there were 2 Tokyo
That's what I'm
colours,
thinking.
remember?
See how I've got a question mark next to that in the notes? Because wasn't the yellow also an Olympic colour?
Nah, well, there was the 2020 original Tokyo colours that then ended up getting to do another Tokyo colour for 2021. Remember?
What was the original
So-
one? I know the one at the white and pink.
Yeah, I think it had a bit of green on it. It was sort of white green with a bit of pink,
Okay.
and then they went full white pink. I was going through all my old shoes, not my old shoes, but like my collecting shoes, and I have a few. Like I kept some from the original Tokyo color. They're like they're like an off-white with a sort of pale green and a bit of pink. Yeah, I've been still wearing my Alpha's version of that.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I've got a picture now. I know what you're talking about.
You know, you've seen it. Yeah.
Zatopek News Croaks, you want to kick us off? What do you want to talk about first? We'll go to the main event, the 10K.
Yeah, so we start with the women's then?
Start with the women's because their race was earlier in the night.
Yeah.
Good race, wasn't
So, yeah, like conditions were definitely a bit tougher for the women than it was for the men. So it had cooled down a little bit, but when the women were running, it was over 30 degrees and it was quite humid. So we had a pacemaker for the first 3K. So that was Mazza Downey, which basically she just left the field. And then it sort of became like a battle. There was 4 in the main pack. So there was Rose Davies, Eloise Wellings, Izzy Batt-Doyle and Caitlin Adams. And it was quite clear from early on that it was going to be a battle between those 4 for the win and the podium. Caitlin was the first one to go. And then I guess Izzy was the next one. And it was really a battle between Eloise and Rose. And like for me, I think Eloise was probably the most surprising run of the night off sort of what she'd been doing with the marathon. And, you know, she's a classy athlete. She's won multiple Zatopeks and finished 10th at the Olympics in this event. She sort of went to the front in the last lap, tried to kick, but then Rose, like she did last year with 200 to go, was just too strong. So she won in 32.58. Eloise was second in 33 flat. And Izzy was third in 33.04 with Caitlin coming in fourth in 33.48. So very exciting. And yeah, as I said, I think Eloise was like the surprise packet for me.
Yeah, I'd say nearly run of the night, even though she didn't win.
Yeah.
Because Rose closed hard. She was only 2 seconds behind her. So Eloise must have closed hard as well. And the way she kind of started turning the screws there late in the race. And, like, I'm not sure if the other girls know, but she also ran 2 marathons in the last 3 or 4 months. So, like, pretty solid.
Yeah.
Men's race
that was
moves.
good.
What did you like about that? Oh, you want to talk about Croaks? You're good at talking.
No. Oh, yeah, so this one we had a pacemaker as well. That was Benny Buckingham. And they were on pace, like, pretty early on, but then you sort of got to maybe 3. So they wanted to go through in, like, 13.50, I think, through 5K. And they were on that pace for the first couple of K, and then it sort of slowed down a little bit. The main pack was, you know, Jack Rayner, Liam Adams, Joel Tobin White, Dave McNeill, and Matt Clark and Jack Bruce. I think they were so they were sort of the top 6 that were battling it out. But then in the second half of the race, it really came down to Jack and Dave, and Jack was basically leading like most of the way, but then I was surprised, like Dave went to the front with what you reckon 3 to 4 laps to go, which I personally thought Dave would just sit on Jack for as long as possible, and then if he's still there with 400 to go, just try and out kick him. And so Dave went to the front for maybe a lap and a half, 600 meters or so, and like I thought Jack looked pretty laboured at that point, and I thought Dave would maybe run away with it. But then Jack went back to the front and with like pretty much 2 laps to go, just wound it up and, got to the bell and had, too much of a gap for Dave to even be able to sort of, bridge it. So Jack won in 28.16. Dave was second in 28.22 and Liam Adams was third in 28.46.
Just held off Joel, didn't he? 28.47.
Yeah, it was a strong
We didn't really
run.
see any footage of those guys, how close that was until they crossed the line, as the cameras were focusing on Jack and
They've had a
Dave.
couple of battles, actually, in the past.
They have, haven't
like
they?
that 5K battle.
5K,
And
yeah. There's also a half in Sydney they went 1-2 in, I reckon.
It wasn't close, though.
Yeah.
It was funny watching
this result, though, wasn't it? Like, you go through the list of these results, and there's a lot of, like, you can start going pass mark, and then there's just, like, the weather. I don't know if it's the weather or guys cooked from Falls Creek or people just gone out way too hard, but there's a lot of guys that, I guess for the girls' race as well, like, have ran a lot slower than anticipated.
Well, if you look at, I'd say the top 5, I'd say the top 4, and then they've run well, and then everyone else, like if you looked at their seed times coming in or their form coming in, I would just be like, oh, that's not a good run for you guys.
Until you get down to the middle of the end, though, because that group you're just talking about, they're like 60, 90 seconds off their best. But then I think guys like Nick, Archie, Guy Walters, Adrian, maybe not Adrian Potter because he's ran pretty quick in the past, but I think those 3 ran pretty good. Like they've ran 30, 40 seconds off their best.
Yeah.
Agree? Yeah, and then there's guys behind them. There's guys behind them that have run. Like, I didn't think I'd be saying Archie's going to be finishing in front of, Tim Vincent, Kieran Tall, Tom Thorpe. I think those 3 held together pretty well.
I think Jack's definitely capable of running a significant 10K PB. So his PB is 27.59. And those conditions have got to be worth, he ran 28.16, got to be worth 17 seconds. So, I wouldn't be surprised it depends if he runs a 10K, but he'll be able to run well under 28 minutes at the moment in the right conditions.
Claudia Hollingsworth was impressive in the 1500. The youngster, spoken about a few times, got the win, 4:16.5. Melissa Duncan second, 4:18. H. Campbell. Is that Holly?
Holly Campbell.
Paige Campbell's sister?
Yep,
thought so. 4:18. Men's race there. These 1500s, Croaks, they're not as deep as we usually see them at Zatopek. Is that a fair call?
I don't know. It's always a bit tricky because a lot of the big names save it for the Grand Prix season. So yeah, I wasn't expecting deep fields in the 1500.
I think we got treated to a bit of a exceptional year last year as well when we saw most of the Melbourne Track Club guys running the 15. Gregson and Geordie Williams and stuff like that.
And there'll be some big 15s coming up over the next few months in the lead up to Nationals.
Yeah, Luke Young won the men's 3:48, Jude Thomas second, 3:49, Zach Patterson third, 3:49.8. We're talking about the kids 3Ks yet? We haven't. So this was the Australian 3K Championships, under 20. When you get to our age, you call them kids, don't you?
Kids a bit harsh.
Teens? They're still teenagers.
20-year-old
they're legal. They're able to drink.
No, they're under 20. They're still teenagers.
Well, some of them, yeah. If they're over 18, they can drink.
Yeah, drink and vote, smoke. They can do what they want, these kids.
Yeah, they can join the defence force.
They could.
They can go and fight for our country.
Yep.
Let's not call them kids.
Not kids. Teenagers, under 20s. Let's call them under 20s. This was a fascinating race in the men's because there's a couple of guys who have broken 8:10 in this field, and a lot of them just jogged around, and then it was just a big wind-up with 2 or 3 laps to go. Thomas Diamond...
But remember, Brady, when these races were on, it was a lot hotter. So these guys were first. The sun was still up, and they were suffering a bit from the heat here. So it's a bit harsh to call that.
It was It was more like 34 degrees at this point, which is hot.
You don't think they were jogging though? So a lot of guys still would have been comfortable in those first 2K.
Well, you just gave your mate Archie Reid a massive chop out for being 40 seconds off his best. Yeah, and these guys are 10 seconds off their best, and you're getting into them.
Oh, I'd say
and it was
20
much,
seconds off their best, and that's over 3K.
It was much hotter for this race too.
I'm just saying,
by the time that the men were running,
it was a tactical race. This was tactically
beautiful conditions.
It wasn't beautiful. Look at those results. I'm just saying, I'll rephrase it. It was a tactical performance where a lot of people were focusing on their kicks and didn't want to string it out from the gun. Is that fair to say?
You need to go through the education system, maybe a university of track running, Brady.
I know that happens regularly. Kick down races happen in championships.
They're not running for time.
I know they're not running for time. I didn't say they were running for time. But I'm saying there's a few guys in this race that should have ran for time because you could have gone from the gun and there would have been 4 people together at the bell. You would have burned.
You go for the gun. It was probably by the time when this race was on, it was 33, 34 degrees in the sun.
Yeah, really destroying us in that heat. Chucking the coals.
I know what you're saying, Brady, because even the guy that won, so Thomas Diamond, so he won the race in 8:24. His interview after the race said that it played into his hands that it wasn't that quick early and that he was still there and he was able to unleash a decent kick at the end over some of the guys who, yes, have run faster over 3K in time trial style races.
Milers kind of stuff.
They don't have the closing speed.
Yeah.
So
this guy
I know what you're saying there.
This guy actually ran his PB at 8:24, but he's a 3:47 guy. So he's sitting there going, beautiful, I just need my speed here. Whereas there's guys that 8:05 guys, and they're relying on their kick finish. Anyway, Thomas Diamond won 8:24. Bailey Habler was second, 8:26. Patrick Cantillon was third, 8:27. Women's race, Croaks. I missed this. Did you see it?
Saw a little bit of it. It was a runaway. So Amy Bunnage, she won 9:37, but she was a long way in front for probably the second half of the race. You knew that she had it wrapped up. Lucinda Rourke was second, 9:48, and Aspen Anderson was third in 9:50.
Okay, that's Zatopek wrapped up. Weren't allowed on the track, which is disappointing. If you want to know our comments during the actual race, check out our...
Oh, and no beers.
And
no beers
at the venue.
all. Come on.
30
Let's build some
degrees,
hype.
Australia
Build some
Day.
atmosphere.
Hot
What are
January.
you selling there, like Cokes or something?
Shoot, Powerades. No sugar Powerades.
Did you even get a
maybe?
Coke?
I don't know. Yeah. I wasn't there. I was sitting at home talking to you.
Hey, can you remember when Melbourne Marathon was sponsored by Powerade and they gave out sugar-free Powerades at the end of the marathon?
Nah, I can't.
So they just released sugar-free Powerade, and that's the drink they chose to give to the competitors that have just finished a marathon. A sugar-free Powerade.
They could have given it to people during the marathon.
I would have taken it during, like, a little bit of electrolyte, maybe a little bit. Oh, I get what you're saying.
Carbs, yeah.
Yeah. But afterwards, like, give me sugar straight away. I want a frozen Coke, any type of soft drink, maybe a chocolate milk, but you're going to give me a sugar-free nothing drink? Oh, terrible marketing. Whoever made that decision.
Last bit of news, Moose. You got some there about Daniel Coleman's. This was quick.
Oh yeah, so they call it the untouchable world record, right? I think we're seeing that it can be touched. So Coleman ran 7:24.90 world record. Berahu Aragawi, he just came up short in his crack at it. So he ran 7:26.20. He needed 57.9 final 400 to get the record, but didn't. This is now like race atmosphere. We're going to see this record go, I reckon, at some point. It's just getting peppered now.
Yeah. Also, though, we should mention that this is indoor record, not outdoor. So okay. Coleman holds the world outdoor record at 7:20. Yeah. So that's quite untouchable. Whereas this is the indoor record.
Yeah.
This is the guy that won the Diamond League final, though, didn't he? On that outdoor track, for 5K. Ethiopian. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's run a few road 5Ks lately, I think, very quick.
Yeah. Didn't he do the one where Christian, that one?
I only saw footage of that guy was winning because he was so far in front, but this guy might have been second or third there. Not 100% sure.
I thought it was Aragawi that won that one as well.
Nah, it wasn't.
Wasn't it? No. Okay.
Hey, you have been looking up stuff, Moose, and the Box Hill Burn is 5K, not 3K.
Peroni.
You should have put a slab on it. You didn't back yourself.
Why were you so confident?
There is a 3K at Box Hill, isn't there?
Not that I remember. Maybe a milers.
What's the one where... Oh, you know what I'm thinking of, Croaks? That one that we did the live stream for. Australian 3K Champs. Jack Bruce won it, and Jen Gregson, we spoke about it last week. 3K at Box Hill.
Normally, if someone's got it wrong, then they show a degree of unsureness, but you were just fully all in.
Well, it's because there's races at Box Hill pretty much every second week, and most of the time they're 3Ks, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, I got to remember that.
Killed you with confidence there, didn't I?
And Brady, you can apologise to me as well, because it was Aragawi that did that 5K in Barcelona on the roads on 31st of December with Christian. He won it in 12:49.
No, sorry, Croaks. You know what I'm thinking about? Another excuse. I'm thinking about the 10K
you are all
at
over the
Valencia.
shop.
You know, the 10K at Valencia? I had a big day
You're
that day. I got up, I ran, I went to work, put a kid to bed. Now I'm on the podcast at 8:30 at night.
Now, you know what it was? Because you were on holidays during this period. So you just left us and,
You know that race I'm talking about, though? That 10K where Christian fell over. I was thinking of that one. That wasn't
I'm talking about the Barcelona one that Christian did, where he broke 15 minutes on the road.
Old Christian, he'll be deep in his prep at the moment. He'll be building for Seville. He'll be getting ready. Can we skip listener question, go Moose on the loose, and then we might wrap up and go because this is a long show.
Yeah, it's a bit long.
That one for next week. Ben, if you're listening out there though, your question's coming up next week. Got it written in front of me. Put a note in your diary, set an alarm. Your question is coming up in episode 223.
This week's show is brought to you by the Think Big, Run the Bridge in Hobart, coming up on February 27th. It's the 13th edition of Tasmania's biggest fun run, which includes Australia's richest 10K road race. This year, no less than 10 Olympians have confirmed, making it a star-studded field for their unique battle of the sexes. This is where the elite women's field get a head start on the men and main field of the difference between the course records. Last year, both course records were broken, with Jen Gregson taking line honours in 32.21 and Jack Rayner 28.28, which means this year the elite women will start 3 minutes and 53 seconds in front of the men. While the first male and female across the line get $3,000 each, the first person across the line gets a bonus $3,000. It's a concept that began in 2016, and so far men have won it 4 times and women twice. They're also offering a parallel virtual event for the 3rd time for the medal collectors out there, which is a unique Tassie-made timber medal. The most exciting thing to announce tonight, however, is they will be the first event in the world to offer NFT finisher medals. Don't know your crypto from your blockchain? That's okay. In a nutshell, each finisher will receive a digital medal sent to them either via email or through their Active Place account, which is personalised with your name, time and event on it. This is the biggest change to medals since the first commemorative finisher medals were given in an event 583 years ago. Can't get to the event in person? Watch the live stream on the event's Facebook page or on the Inside Running Facebook page. With an epic field, Battle of the Sexes race component and taking in all the iconic landmarks of Hobart, it's right up there as one of the best streams to view in Australia.
What do you got, Moose on the loose?
Moose on the loose, so got a lot of great feedback from the political stuff. It's going real well. Also got some negative feedback about it too. So we're just going to ignore that because haters gone hate, Brady. Haters gone hate. So let's leave the haters hating. Now I'm going to talk about the Australian Open. This one's about the crowd booing participants or athletes at the Australian Open. So you watched this, didn't you, Croaks? You've watched a lot of tennis. Now, when no matter, you've got to do some pretty bad shit to cop a boo from the crowd, don't you? Like that's just you got to be some sort of like sex offender, or you got to have abused treated someone really poorly in the past to cop booing from a crowd. Not
you
just
reckon?
be the.
You reckon?
Well,
Aren't they making some other noise though, not booing?
Yeah, but what about at the footy? People boo the opposition all the time.
So they boo the umpires.
Oh, I reckon they boo certain opposition as well.
They definitely boo someone if they come in to kick a goal.
Yeah, why? What are you doing that for?
I think they're trying to put them off, aren't they? Distract
them. There's a real difference between booing to put someone off and booing because you're showing you're trying to bully them almost. Yeah, and you're trying to show your real displeasure at that person for some reason. Who knows what it is? It's just totally not what I consider good behaviour, good moral, polite behaviour. I think if there's an athlete out there on the court or on the field or on the track and they're competing, you don't have to cheer for them, but you don't boo them. That's just not, just because the opposition's Australian and you prefer them to win doesn't mean that you attack the other opponent. You just cheer harder for the Australian. That's how I see it.
This surprises me from you, Moose, because I thought potentially you would go the other way, in that you guys are professional athletes, but you're there to entertain. Just do your job, and we've paid our money, and we can sort of boo if we want. We're not hurting you. The problem I had, the other Moose on the loose you could have related to this one, Moose, was a lot of the time though, especially early on in the tournament, there was talk that actually wasn't booing. It was Ronaldo does
suing or whatever.
Yeah, and so the reason why they think they're doing that was because even when Kyrgios would they would win a point, it sounded like they were booing. Where it's well, they're not going to be booing because Kyrgios won a point. They're all for them winning. And so that's, I think, what was happening for a lot of the Australian Open, which I think is just stupid anyway. How is that even relevant? You win a point and everyone goes it was. I thought it was quite childish and pathetic.
This is it's real taking that just pop culture comments about society. This segment, hasn't it?
What about Kyrgios? You a fan, Croaks? Kyrgios and Kokonakis?
Can't you ask him this off air?
I want to know on air.
Aspects of it, yes. When Nick's playing well and he's in the right, mindset, he's as good as anybody. Some of the stuff that he comes up with is incredible. There's no doubt he's a natural athlete. What annoys me is the things that set him off. maybe suck it up sometimes, like just chucking a tantrum over like really small things, that frustrates me. But in terms of like, it was entertaining tennis to watch. I don't know. There's obviously a little bit of arrogance there, like
a little bit.
Yeah, well, a fair bit, which I think maybe in other sports is accepted, but because tennis is traditionally one of those sort of prim and proper sports where, you're very courteous to each other and like a gentleman's sport sort of thing. It's meant to be. And so they go against that trend. But I think it does bring different fans into the tennis.
It's like Happy Gilmore, mate.
Yeah, it is a little bit. It is. Yeah.
It's exactly Happy Gilmore.
Yep.
And is it good for the game of golf? Well, Shooting McGavin says no.
No, but did you like Shooting McGavin? I didn't like Shooting McGavin.
Nah, no one likes Shooting McGavin.
Yeah, so I preferred Happy.
Yeah, we did like Happy. But at the time, you're like, Happy, what the fuck, mate? You get this is not on. Yeah, so you watch Happy and you go, you don't be behaving like this, Happy. Terrible behaviour.
There's arguments there. There's definitely arguments either way for this. But I'm with you. Like I have more of an issue with actually, like the booing, I don't have so much of an issue with. I have more of an issue with people trying to put them off their serve, like mid-serve calling out. I think that's worse than actually like booing in between points.
That's bad too. That is bad.
I think that's worse.
Yeah. When it's a game of concentration like that, maybe like where you watch the NBA and they actually set like fans up behind them, give them bloody whackers and try to put them off all the time.
Yeah, and so that's the argument that I thought you would potentially go the other way, in that like you're a professional athlete, you're making so much money, like just learn to deal with those situations, because they do obviously in the NBA, like they still have to concentrate on putting that ball in the hoop, and you've got people behind them trying to put them off. So, but I think it's more just that tennis has never been like that. Culture has never been part of tennis, so that's why it's so off-putting. Where that's fair game in basketball.
Yeah, it's a culture thing, isn't it? They're just shaking the culture up. But and then I think, how much did Medved win for coming second? How much is his career earnings?
1.5 million. Fuck him. I think.
Fuck him, he can deal with the booze. I don't give a shit. I'm getting booed for that much. I don't care what happens.
All right, what's coming up in your life, fellas? Obviously not watching tennis because that's over. What are you doing though, Moose?
What am I? Back to work again this week. So organising the camp, brilliant camp, coming up.
How many spots you got left? Surely you're booking.
Yeah, not that many left. Not that many. You got to get in.
Got in quick.
You got to get in.
The way he's plugging it though, Croaks, I feel that he hasn't got anyone signed up yet. Go with the old scarcity tactic.
Come to Canberra Marathon.
No, we got people signed up. Spots are limited. You got some good. It's going to be good.
We get it.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Croaks, what are you doing?
A bit of teaching, bit of running. Hopefully hit sort of 90k for the week. Counting down till the footy season starts. 5 weeks.
That will come around quick. Thanks for listening, legends. Long and the short of it, they're out Thursday morning. That was good last week as well by themselves, wasn't it? I'll definitely put 20 minutes on the end of this one. I think we forgot to do that last week, so you can hear what they've been up to. See you, fellas.
See you guys. Have a good week.
Same to you. This week's show was with thanks to the Think Big Run the Bridge in Hobart on Feb 27th. There's plenty of ways to get involved. You can either head to Hobart and run it live, you can enter and do the race virtually, or tune in to watch the live stream of the event on event morning. Head to hobartrunthebridge.com.au for all the details.